Okay, great. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to part two of our webinar. So I'm Laura Travers from the Devon Alliance for International Recruitment, and I'm here today with Madhu.
Hi Laura, hi everyone.
Hi, nice to see you again.
Yeah,
How have you been since we last spoke?
yeah, I'm good. And lots of questions I have got from all my subscribers and
Great.
our viewers. Yeah, excited
Cool.
for this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to answering them. So do you want to get started? What have you got for me?
Yeah, I have got a few questions written on my phone.
Of
So first
course.
question is for you is like lots of people they have cleared their IELTS or OET and CBT long ago, and they're asking if when UK government, like when NHS will start recruitment, whether they will give priority to those candidates who have passed their IELTS or OET long time ago and their test is about to expire. So the NHS will prioritize them, or how it will be?
Excellent question. So, because we work in the recruitment space, our first priority is getting the right candidate in for the job. So, if you're a general nurse and we're looking for theatre nurses, then of course you won't be placed in that theatre nurse role if your OET or your IELTS is coming to an end. And don't forget, it's 2 years validity that you've got on your IELTS and your CBT or your OET. So, first and foremost, we place for the job role. So, if we're looking for ophthalmology nurses or theatre nurses, we will look for those types of nurses, obviously, to fit those roles. And then if it's a general nurse, and you are right for the job, then we will put you forward. But I would suggest that you keep us up to date if you have applied with us about when your exams will expire, because obviously we need to know, and we will write that on your file as well. And we will try to prioritise based on when they expire. But as I said, our first priority is filling the job with the most appropriate candidate, and then we will look at validity of exams and things.
Yeah, you're right, because those candidates who are like most eligible for that particular job, they will be prioritized. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good. I
but
think
but we do care about exams and stuff, and we
yeah,
know it. We know it's really stressful.
yeah,
There's been a pause for about
quite long.
six
Yeah.
six to 8 months. Has been a long time. So just if you're worried about your exams expiring, just keep us updated. Send us a message, and we can put a note on your file that they will expire soon. We can definitely put that as a priority, but it's not the number one priority. It is a priority, but it's not the first.
Yeah. So if you have already passed your exam, then I would suggest you to just contact Devon Alliance. So they will,
Yeah.
whenever recruitment will start, they will try to prioritize you, but
Yes.
we are
Yeah.
not 100% sure.
Yeah, we'll do our best, and of course we would love to do that. So yeah.
So another question is, lots of candidates they have passed their interviews from different trusts, but they are still waiting for COS. So, what do you think? When can be their relocation? When they can expect everything to restart again?
Oh, good question. So the new government's come in to the UK. We've got a completely new government now. So we're just sort of waiting, really. There's no guarantees and we've not heard anything, but I'm hopeful that it's going to be the end of the year. I mean, I would say that as long as you're being recruited ethically, which means that you're not paying any money to any recruiter. So please don't. And if you have, please don't go through that, because that's not fair. You shouldn't be paying anybody any money to recruit you. um but just keep the faith, go with an ethical recruiter,
Mhm.
like us, or you can find the framework online as well. So ethical recruiters don't charge anything. And then, as like people like us will be honest with you and tell you. We're hoping towards the end of the year, sort of like September October time, we'll be in a position where we can start telling people, and we can start issuing formal offer letters. So we will interview and offer an initial offer letter, and then a formal offer letter when we know sort of where you'll be going. So we hope that within the next few months we'll be issuing formal offer letters and starting to get causes out. But if you sort of ask me now to give a definite date, we really don't know. But my opinion is the end of the year, sort of September, October, and that's what we're hoping for. Um, yeah, and that's all I can sort of say, really. That's all I know.
Yeah, you're right, because lots of people are asking like when the recruitment will start, but At the moment we can't give them the right answer that when the recruitment will start. It's not in our hand actually.
No, if I knew, I would tell people, and it's going back to the question of the expired documents. We would know then to say, right, okay, we'd have more time to get people lined up, and we'd know about the expiry of the documents and things. But the truth is, we really don't know, and I wish we did, because it would be less stressful for people. And if I did
Yeah.
know, I would say, but I really don't know.
Yeah. So, and you have also raised a good question, like do not contact those who are like asking you for money, because recently I came live in Instagram on Instagram. So there was a girl who told me that somebody in India, in Delhi, they have asked her to pay 9,000 pounds for her recruitment. It is a huge amount.
No,
You don't have to pay anything to any agency to get
no,
recruited to the UK. So
no.
it is so. I felt very bad after hearing that.
It's
I think,
horrible.
yeah, it's terrible. So, those who are watching this, if you are having any doubt, you can contact Devon Alliance, or you can contact me as well, because I am also helping all the nurses to come to the UK in right path. Like you will not have to spend anything. I have created lots of videos on this as well. How much exactly you will have to spend in your process? Like you just have to spend on your registration test. You don't have to spend, especially on employer. To finding employer, you don't have to pay anything.
No, no,
So
and Trust will refund you the cost of your English language exam, your NMC registration fees as well, your CBT exam, and they will pay for you to go through your OSCE with all of your training as well. So you'll have like the initial sort of costs, and then once you're in the country and you've started your job, you'll get reimbursed those costs as well.
yeah. I have created detailed video like how much they will get reimbursed. So if you will see the total amount after getting reimbursed, I think it will be around 280 pounds, which you will have to spend in all your process after getting reimbursement.
Okay,
So
that's
it's
good.
not, it's a very small amount which people have to spend on their process. So it is very good, and
That is
they should
good.
also always follow the right path. Otherwise, wrong people, they will come into the contact of wrong people, and these wrong people can like
Yeah,
take lots of money from them.
yeah.
Okay, so there is one more question from our viewer. So what is your suggestion for those who have already passed IELTS or OET and CBT? What documents they should keep ready for their process?
So obviously try and keep your IELTS or your OET and your CBT documents up to date. Make sure that your registration is almost complete with the NMC. So you've submitted all of your paperwork with the NMC and you're just waiting on the OSCE. So you need to submit all your verifications, your English exams, your CBT, plus your it's your qualifications, isn't it, that you need to submit for them to check as well. So just make sure you're up to date with all of your requirements for the NMC, and keep your documents up to date. You'll need a police check as well for every country that you've worked in for the last 10 years. So if you are from India and you now live in Dubai, for example, you would need a police check from India and also from Dubai to cover 10 years, or if you've been in Dubai for 10 years, then you only need one for Dubai. Also, if some countries require for you to have a TB chest x-ray.
Yeah.
So I know that India is one of those countries, but Dubai isn't. So just check on the UK government website. I can give the details, or you can ask me if you need a chest x-ray. So that's something that you'll need as well. And references, we need two references from you. So just make sure you've sent in the details for your references. Um, and that's everything really. Oh, we ask for a COS template, and then also we do like a health sort of questionnaire as well for occupational health, but that isn't until you've received your second offer letter. So until your COS is kind of imminently being issued, then we ask for a template for your COS, so we've got all of your details sort of up to date, and then also a health questionnaire as well. So it's very, very common in the UK, as Madhu will know as well, that
Yeah,
occupational
yeah.
health will just contact you, just check that you're okay. it's not dependent on your job. No one's going to withdraw your offer letter if you say potentially that you might be blind in one eye. You know, things can happen where
Mhm.
we will make reasonable adjustments to make work
Yeah.
easier for you. So if you do have like a minor health ailment, please don't be scared to talk about it because we're here to support you. And in the UK, we're really big on actually incorporating disabilities into the workplace, and we want to be able to support you. So just it's not there to catch you out. We really want to help you. So occupational health, get in touch, just check that everything's okay, and that you've declared sort of everything that you need to declare. But it's nothing to be scared about. We genuinely want to support you. So that's what I would say just to get into place, really.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So all these documents, if you are ready, then whenever recruitment starts, you will be like, you will not spend,
Exactly.
yeah, you will not spend too much time on preparing yourself. Yeah.
It's what we
Like,
call like COS ready. So you are ready to be issued a
you're ready.
COS. So
Yeah.
when we are ready to start the deployment, it will be the COS ready nurses that will be
Mhm.
in touch with first, and those are the nurses that have kept up to date with all of their
Yeah.
documents. So if you applied, say like 6 months ago, and some of your documents have run out, you need to get them updated to be COS ready.
Yeah.
Because if you're not COS ready, then you won't be in the first batch of deployments.
Yes, right. And recently, I had made video as well on new requirements of becoming nurse in the UK. So there, I had explained about the new requirement, which was just an experience, because lots of people were thinking that when you are fresher and you are without experience, still you can get job in the UK. So, what do you think? How much experience is playing important role in finding job in the UK at the moment?
Okay. It is possible to get a job as a fresher through an agency. I have taken a fresher before. She went to Salisbury and they were very open to recruiting freshers, and that's fine. But a lot of hospitals that we recruit for specifically want 6 months to a year experience, and actually more recently they've wanted a year. And I have heard in India that actually people get a year contract, and the hospital won't give them a reference until they have
Mm.
actually worked for a year. I've heard that a lot. So I would say a year. But you know, there are opportunities for freshers. And if we do get that, I will put it on social media. As you know, I run our Devon Alliance social media pages. So if there are opportunities for freshers, we will put them on our pages. And you know, I would perhaps say to you, we're looking for freshers. Do you know of any?
Yeah.
But it's rare. I've been in this job for 3 years and I've recruited one fresher. So it's not common. I would say get that experience. 6 months
Mm.
to a year, ideally a year, really. A lot more hospitals are saying a year. Um, 6 months we can place, but if you have a year or more, it's easier and it's better for you as well.
Yeah, because at the moment, if you will see the scenario, like lots of experienced people are waiting for the job. So I think when trust will look for candidates, they will prefer the candidate who has got good job, and more specifically, if they clear interview, then they will have like whoever
I
clears the
know.
interview, they will get the job. Yeah, it
Yeah,
depends on interview as well.
as I've said to people recently, competition is really fierce at the moment.
Yeah.
We're not in the space that we were in 2 years ago, where you know people with 6 months or even 4 months experience were being snatched up. It's not like that anymore. You know, you want to have that competitive edge, and the competitive edge is as much experience in your chosen field as you possibly can. So as much experience as possible.
Yeah. So there is one candidate who had got visa already, but their trust had postponed their he could not come on that particular time, and they had
Okay.
postponed to the next month. But his visa got expired. So what do you think? This that particular trust will employ him again, or what will be his process like? They will extend his visa or anything?
Yeah, they should do. So I'd need to specifically look at his visa because it's different for different people from what I can remember. And I've not looked at a visa in a few months.
Okay.
Um, you've got 3 months from when it's issued that you can arrive. It
Yeah,
says
90
that at
days.
the
They will
top,
they
doesn't
will
it?
give you 90 days to
Oh
like
yeah, only
fly.
90 days. So that's
Yeah,
expired, has it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
So
the
it's yeah, I mean, there's no reason that the trust shouldn't, you know, they've spent all that money already on the COS and the
yeah.
visa. That would be, I can almost sort of say that that would be silly for them not to continue, but he
Mhm.
needs to get in touch with them and find out what's happening.
Yeah.
they should, they should issue another visa through that COS, or get in
Yeah,
touch with the Home Office just to explain the situation, and they should either extend or reissue a new visa. So, I mean, I
yeah,
can't speak for the hospital. I don't know who they
yeah,
are, and
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what their intentions are, but I can't imagine that they would pay for a COS, pay for a visa appointment, and then not carry through. It's that seems crazy. So I would advise them to speak to the hospital, find out what
Yeah.
their plans are, ask if they're going to speak to the visa services to extend his visa sort of 90-day arrival period, and then take it from there. But I can't imagine that they wouldn't.
Yeah, so yeah, I have suggested the same because we can't give the answer because it's all depend on the trust, like what they actually want, right? So only trust can answer that question, but still,
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to ask. Yeah, so there was one more question, like one person has 18 month of experience, then
Okay.
he has stopped the job and was preparing for IELTS or OET and CBT, and he has got almost 18 months of gap now. So what do you think? How is his like position at the moment? What do you think?
I think, oh gosh, yeah, that's a tricky one actually. It's
Mm,
completely acceptable to take a gap to do CBT prep and prep for your
mm,
English exam completely. 18 months, that's quite a lot.
mm,
Um, 18 months experience in the first instance is good, but I would probably, if I was to look at that, expect maybe 6 months to a year gap.
yeah,
Um, 18 months is quite excessive, and I don't think a hospital would accept that as a reasonable gap. I would advise him to
mm,
go back and just get another 6 months experience. I
yes,
mean, he can still apply, and we're, maybe he has already applied, and if he has, applied with us, please reach out to me, because I can
hmm,
put a little note on his file to sort of say, big gap, but gaining
mm,
more experience now. So he can still be considered for roles, but just get some more experience in. And then, while he's getting that experience in, we can have him on the system and we can put him forward for
yeah,
roles, knowing that he's still getting that experience. So I would
mm,
recommend, yeah, I would say that a year gap to study is perfectly acceptable, but 18 months is just a little
yeah,
bit too long. So I'd
yeah,
say he needs to get another 6 months
yeah.
experience.
Yeah, I think yeah, most of the trust they ask for like they can accept up to 12 months of gap.
I think
I don't think
so.
yeah. So and what do you think about how many bed capacity there should be if they are planning to take experience? So how many bedded hospital experience they should have? Ideally, there is no any I think rule, but what's your say on this?
There's no, yeah, as you said, there's no rule. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't really matter. The only
Mhm.
thing I would say, as you would know, Madhu, is that you've probably experienced a lower patient to nurse ratio in India than in England. So you probably worked in what, a 1-to-4 nurse ratio in India?
Where I worked, it was like a huge hospital, and one nurse was looking after 20 patients. So,
Wow. Okay. So that's probably not the
yeah,
best example, but
yeah.
I've spoken to nurses when we went to Kerala, and we spoke to nurses, and they were like 1-to-6 or 1-to-4 ratio. In the UK,
Mhm.
it's what, 1-to-8 or 1-to-12?
Wow. Okay. S-
What what sort of ratio do you work with your patients?
Actually, I work in theater,
Oh,
so
that's not too bad.
yeah, I work one to one. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in like ICU, for example, it's 1-to-1 or 1-to-2, kind of depending. So it's dependent on the area that you work in. So yeah, ICU, that's your high dependency units.
Yeah.
1-to-1, if one, is a bit more sort of stable, then it could be 1-to-2. Most likely it's 1-to-6 or 1-to-8. Um, and also you've got, other nurses and healthcare assistants and doctors that are also there to support. But bed ratio doesn't really matter
Yeah.
about the size of the hospitals, because in the UK, the hospitals are kind of broken up into wards, and you work in that
Yeah.
ward area and you work in your ward team.
Yeah.
So it's not really, I wouldn't look at a CV of someone that's worked in a 200 bedded hospital and someone that's worked in a 2,000 bedded hospital and see them as different. I would look at their experience and their qualifications as the same, and the
Yeah.
amount of experience that they've got as the same. So it doesn't really make a difference
Mm.
when I'm looking at hiring somebody. But it could be that if I was looking for, say, a community hospital, that's someone that has worked in a lesser bedded hospital would be more favorable just because they're used to sort of a lesser busy kind of setting. But people that
Hmm.
have worked in say if you'd worked in medical or accident emergency in a bigger hospital, huge hospital, you'd be great for accident emergency in
Yeah,
England because you'd be used to, the constant flow
I
of
can know.
patients and the
Yeah.
busyness. Yeah, so it really depends on what we're looking for, but fundamentally, no, I'm not looking at the bedded hospitals that you worked in. Sometimes, if we're looking for somebody that it likes to be busy and is used to being hands-on, but that's very rare, but
Hmm.
occasionally, but yeah.
Yeah, and some people have got experience as a community health officer, and they're working in community. So will they be like preferred for ward, like in hospital, or they will have to look job for community?
Um, you can request it. It depends. So if you've travelled around the community, there have been in the past jobs that have come up where people are sort of needed to travel around as a community nurse, or that they were called the old district nurses. So they would go and
Mhm.
visit
Yeah.
patients in their homes. I mean, those opportunities are needed, but what we found was it's really, driving is difficult. So nurses from overseas, they can't drive. Driving in the UK is very different. There are these people are in rural areas, so there's like cows crossing, or the roads are small, and it's really stressful, I think, for international nurses to jump straight into a community
Yeah.
role. Um, in some of the hospitals that we have with our trusts, so I'll use, for example, Torbay, because I've worked at Torbay for a really long time. Um, they'll have like they used to be called cottage hospitals or community hospitals. So
Hmm.
Newton Abbot, for example, they still have a minor injury unit and an inpatient kind of setting. It's based in a town that's maybe not as expensive to live in as Torbay. So I think that is kind of like a good alternative. So even though it's called a community hospital, it's still got the wards, it's still under the same management team. It's got like a minor injuries unit rather than a busy A&E, which may deal with fractures, it might deal with the cardiac kind of cases, whereas minor injury unit is minor head injuries, minor injuries. So you can work in the community, and you can work at a slower pace hospital if you wanted to, but if you wanted to work for the acute trust, you can request it. And we'll do our best. I had an incident. We had an incident, not an incident, but something happened about a year ago where we'd placed somebody in a community hospital and they declined the role. They weren't going to take it in a
Uh,
community. They wanted to take an acute, and then 2 months later, recruitment completely stopped. So they still
oh.
haven't been deployed. They're
Yeah.
still waiting, and they declined that role. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say talk about it with us.
Yeah.
If
I
you're
have.
if you're not
Yeah.
happy, we'll talk about the benefits of where you're being placed, and the education is
Mhm.
still the same, etc., etc. And when you pass your OSCE, you can, of course, you're
Then you
you're
can change.
able to apply on NHS jobs to move around the
Yeah.
hospital to go to an area that you would like to sort of work in if that's what you want. But so yes, to answer your question. You
Yeah.
can work in a community setting, you can work on the acute setting. You can, of course, request, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be guaranteed. We obviously work as best as we can to request, and we want you to be happy. But if we offer you a job role and you're not sure, talk to us about it. Don't just decline it, straight away, because
Yeah.
you just don't know when the next role will be available. So, yeah.
Yeah, I had also seen lots of candidates. They were asking me like when recruitment was about to stop, like that time you may have seen mostly community jobs were there, like available for people. So I also suggested all the candidates like if whatever you are getting, go for it. Like once you go there, once you get your pin, you can change your job in your own trust, like on your trust website. You can check jobs and you can apply, and wherever you want to work, you can get job there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have our few viewers who are like in India we call 12th, but here in UK we call A levels.
Okay.
They are doing their A levels and they are planning to pursue nursing in future. So they are asking like after 5 years whether UK will recruit internationally educated nurses or not. So what is the long term NHS plan for international recruitment?
Good question. So
Yeah.
we recently went to a webinar that was held by the UK Home Office, and they have said that international recruitment is part of the long-term NHS plan for the next 5 to 10 years. So there is no reason that in 5 years the international recruitment will have stopped.
Yeah. So yeah, they have like they still can think about UK nursing after five
Of
years. But yeah.
course. We'd be, reach out to us. We'd be excited to have you. Some of our team recently visited some nursing colleges in India, and we think that education is so important. So if
uh,
you're at a college or anything like that, and you want us to get in touch or even do a webinar about the opportunities to your college, we're more than happy to come along. So reach
uh,
out to us, and we love things like that.
you would like to do webinar in colleges
Of
if
course.
yeah, okay, good. Good to know that I can like ask colleges and they can have webinar with you. That will be great. Yeah.
Course. Yeah, yeah, of
Yeah.
course. We love to answer questions and help people sort of achieve their dreams of being a UK registered nurse.
Yeah. So what is the age limit to become a registered nurse in the UK?
Um, yeah, I mean there is really no age limit. Your visa is for 5 years, so as long as you can work for 5 years to sort of meet the requirements of your visa that's set out, the trust has obviously paid for all of these things, and they sort of need a return on their investment, to be frank. So, you would need to work for the 3 years or the 5 years to be able to complete your visa term. So as long as you can do that, sky's the
Yeah.
limit, really. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I take OET classes, and I have some candidates who are around 50 years old. So
Oh,
they are worried about their age. I said, no, there is
no.
nothing like this in UK. They accept everyone. Like
Yeah,
as long as you are able to do your work,
yeah.
they will accept you. And retirement age is also quite high in UK
Yeah.
as compared to India, so they can still work here. So lots of people were worried because of their age. Some people they are in their 30s they want to do nursing. I said it's totally normal to do nursing in at the age of 30.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
too long. Yeah, so that's good because if they will hear this message from your side, then they will be more happy. Yeah, that's
There's
very
no
good.
age limit. As long as you're, over 18, you can do the job, you meet the visa requirements, you've got a great CV, and that you can work to sort of your visa limit or above, then fab, no problems.
So I know the answer for this question, but my viewers want answer from your side.
No
What is
problem.
the recruitment plan for Nepal, Pakistan, and all the red list countries?
I don't know. I wish I had an answer. The only thing that I do know is that the WHO update their red list or their code of conduct every year, or every 2 years. I
Yeah,
think it's
I think every
every
2 3 years, after every
every
2 or 3 years.
2, 3 years. So the last big thing was the addition of the Zimbabwe and Zambia to the red list,
Yeah,
and that was in March 23. So I expect that the next edition or review of the code of conduct will probably be in March 25.
hmm,
Whether they take any countries off, we don't know. Whether they add any countries on, we don't know. So
yeah,
it's literally waiting for that list. Even when there were rumors that Zimbabwe and Zambia were being added to the list, I was like, it's just a rumor. We've not heard anything. And then it was released literally within a couple of days. It happened so quickly. We really
mm,
didn't know. But I will say that those countries, we had already interviewed nurses and care workers from the countries that were added to the red list, but we honoured their offer because we'd already interviewed them when they were part of the
mm,
green list. And that was the same with Kenya. When Kenya was added to the amber list, we had a couple of candidates from Kenya that we'd already interviewed, and
mm.
we honoured the offer that we'd already given them. So we always try and do what's ethically right for the candidate as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, So the truth is, and it's probably the same as you, Madhu, I really don't know, but they will review it again next year. Whether they'll
Mm,
take things off, countries off or add countries, we really don't know. Until that list is released, we don't
yeah,
know.
we can't give because it is not in NHS, not in England government's hand. It is in WHO's hand. So it's very difficult. So the last question, lots of people had interview with Devon. They're still
Yeah.
waiting for COS. So they are asking what will happen to them.
Oh, well, of course, as I said earlier in the video, um, keep all your documents updated. Sorry, something just popped into my head again. But I just want to say, if you are waiting, we've not forgotten you. You're welcome to message us at any time if you have any doubts, any questions. We are always here for you. You can contact me on WhatsApp if you need to. I'm always on WhatsApp and the team email as well. But as I said earlier in the video, keep all of your documents up to date. If you're worried that your OET or IELTS or CBT will expire soon, just email the team. We'll put a note on your file. If you have, if you've got an updated CV, if you had an interview 6 months ago and you've recently been working in ICU that you weren't working in before, or you've been working in oncology or somewhere different, send an updated CV. That way, everything is always up to date. Try and keep your documents up to date. Just make sure that you're always COS ready. Um, I know it's expensive and I know that people don't have money to burn and it is a really unfortunate situation. But just keep the faith. Even if you leave it until, say, September and then you start getting your documents up to date again. Because I do genuinely think that something will happen at the end of the year. So yeah, just keep your documents up to date. Get in contact with us if you want an update. I do try and keep people updated through social media. You can reach out to us through Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, whatever social media. We are there. I man it, so please send us an email. But your offer will still stand as long as you keep everything updated. Refresh your CV if you want to. Send that to the team and just keep doing your best and we hope that it will all change soon.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. And lots of like
Welcome.
all the time I want to like update people with creating videos, and now from like it is our second time we are having webinar, so I try to keep people informed about their recruitment process because these people are very worried. Some people say, "Oh, you are very optimistic about UK recruitment, but there won't be any recruitment." But I think definitely there will be recruitment because we need nurses, and
Yeah,
it's very difficult to get homegrown nurses at the moment because you know that this year also we haven't got enough admissions in nursing.
yeah,
So I think we are still relying on internationally
yeah,
educated nurses. So
yeah,
definitely there
yeah,
is hope. You don't
yeah.
lose your hope.
No, no.
People say that I'm too much optimistic about
No,
international, but
no,
I
you're
think
not. I think because you've been through the process yourself as well and you see it. I
yeah,
think people that say about UK nurses, it takes a really long time to train a homegrown
yeah,
nurse. They're not
yeah,
just available now, it takes a long time. And the NHS is expanding every day, new hospitals, new units are being built. We know that international recruitment is pivotal and is really important. I know it, and also I wouldn't have a job if it wasn't moving forward. So I'm still in my job, so that's a good sign.
yeah.
Genuinely, international recruitment is so pivotal to the NHS, and we can't wait to welcome more international nurses. You're so important and literally the backbone of what keeps our hospitals running. So
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Laura. I will also keep updated everyone on my channel, and I think Laura will also make other videos on her like Devon Alliance channel. So you subscribe to her channel as well, and like
thank you. And I hope that we'll do well, we've got to do a third installment. And
yeah,
we want to get together with Alicia that we did a video with
yeah,
as well,
sure,
all of
sure,
us
yeah,
together. So
yeah,
any more questions, pop them in the comments. If you want any more questions answered, we can do another webinar. Happy
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Any questions that you have for us, and if you want to email our team, it's Devon Alliance, all one word, at nhs.net. So we'll leave it there for now. And thank you, Madhu. It's been lovely.
Thank you, Laura, for your time as well. Yeah,
Absolute pleasure. I will see you again in a couple of weeks.
yeah. Thank you. You.
Thank you. Bye.